Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nishay from NishaySnow.com. In the studio today, we have Jen Proctor from Cultivated Entertainment. Before we get into that, I just want to say happy Veterans Day. And to all my vets out there, we appreciate all that you have done for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Few housekeeping items. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share. It really means a lot. So please, if you could take 2 seconds to do that. And also to help support the show, please check out the Life Cleanse Journal. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can check it out at NishaySnow.com. That's NACHESNOW.com. All right, this is episode 73. It's kind of crazy. So the first episode, it was just me talking, but roughly I've interviewed, I guess I've had a couple of solo episodes, but still, I think I've interviewed between 65 and 70 extraordinary women. I mean, it's just been like really a pleasure to learn from all of them. So if this is your first time tuning in, make sure you go back into the archives and listen to just the amazing stories from people from all different backgrounds, all different industries doing their thing. Okay, so who do we have on today? We have Jen Proctor. I mentioned that she is from Cultivated Entertainment, a company that she started, which is a full service talent company, but not a talent agency. Their clients, brands, production companies, networks that they work with hire them to look for talent. So it's a little bit different because I asked her to break that down for me. So she explains a little bit of that in the episode too, because initially I thought it was like a traditional talent agency, but it's the total, like the other side of it. So she'll go into that. But really, this episode, I get to talk to her about how she was just able to leave, a steady 9-to-5 job and say like, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own. So we talk about why she made that decision. We talk a lot of bit, blah. We talk a lot about fear and how people have a fear mentality around a lot of stuff, be it, oh my God, I won't have health insurance, or I don't know if I'm going to make enough money. Will I make enough money? And, she really gives just good advice for like really believing in yourself and knowing that you can do it and having a plan. And when you do that, it's not going to necessarily be just easy peasy and you're just going to be like, oh my God, I'm rolling in the dough my first year. But, more than likely you will succeed. And even if you have challenges or fail, everything will fall into place. So I just really enjoyed talking to her. I felt very motivated and like, yeah, after my conversation with her. And I just know you guys will too. So without further ado, let's talk to Jen. Here we go. Hello, Jen, and welcome to the Studio 78 podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I cannot wait to dig into Cultivated Entertainment. But before we get to like how you started this amazing business, can you just tell the listeners a little bit about you before you started it?
Sure. Let's see. Born and raised in Southern California. I was always a singer and dancer and into the performing arts as a young kid. And then came time to go to college, and I actually got a degree in journalism. I wanted to be, a news reporter or an entertainment reporter, or something along those lines. But I always knew that I wanted to work in, entertainment or Hollywood or whatever you want to call it. My career, I jumped around, I guess you could say, quite a bit. I'm only in my early 30s, and even before starting the company, I had a really wide range of experience that I think formulates the knowledge that I have, and abilities that I have. But I worked at agencies, I worked for a television studio, I was on a daytime show for a long time, then I was freelancing, Then I joined a big Sony-owned production company, was the head of talent there, and then ultimately formed Cultivated Entertainment.
Wow. And even before we get into cultivated entertainment, because I think sometimes people know, like, oh, I want to be in the media business or whatever, but they just don't know, like, how to get started, especially like people in their early 20s. So, how did you even find your way into this whole entertainment industry?
Internships, internships, internships. I mean,
Mm,
the internships are just so incredible because they're only a semester long. It's sometimes 1, 2, 3 days a week, and you can, they're flexible usually to work around your class schedule when you're, because you're still in college. And I had a vast array of experience from multiple internships that I did junior and senior year of college, and then did it in the summers in between. And I really learned, okay, I like this, I don't like this, I'm good at this, I should learn more about this, I suck at that, or I
right.
hate, and I think I cannot, anyone who I speak to that's, thinking about a career in whatever industry, I think you cannot go wrong with internships. They are the best thing you could do.
And so, you've like worked in all these different places. At what point, like, what made you say, like, it's time for me to like step out on my own? And did you do it as a side hustle first, or did you go all in?
Well, I definitely went all in. I think that, it was one of those things where, like I said, I had a lot of, all of my jobs were within the entertainment industry, but they were all, quite different, different
Mm,
aspects of the industry. And I think, ultimately what it came down to was I was working for, a Sony-owned production company who's wonderful. They're actually one of my biggest clients now. But it was I was the head of talent there, and I was overseeing so much stuff. And, every day it's like, and here's this project, and here's this project, and what's happening with that project. And I kind of just got to a place where I was validating myself, and I knew what my worth was. And I
mm.
also wanted to be able to have some kind of life. And, I don't know if in this present moment I have much of a personal life, but I'm also spending my time building my business, which to me is very, very personal.
Mm.
So, what it came down to was there was a number that I knew I was worth, and if that number couldn't be reached, then I was ready to take the leap. And the craziest part is that I left and I had a major surgery. I was in escrow on my house,
Oh,
and
wow.
I started my business all within the same month. So it was insane.
Well, I think another like scary part for people, is like even insurance, right? And, so health benefits and retirement. So it's just like, oh my God, I can't leave because how am I going to do this myself or figure this out myself? So were you just like, I'll just work it out? Or was that like one of your fears too?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't a fear because I understand that people get caught up in that stuff. But if you really break it down, okay, what is your insurance going to cost you a month? Let's say it's $500 or $1,000. Well, guess what? You just go and you make that much more money a month and you pay for your own insurance. I very much had that mindset that like nothing, nothing was going to get in my way. Nothing was going to be too big of an obstacle. And I was just going to figure it out and get it done.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you just kind of, I guess, included in your plan. So, yeah. So you're like, you know what? If they don't meet this number, I'm out. And then you decide, like, okay, I'm doing this. What did that look like? How did you determine, your name and exactly what you were going to be doing? What did those first 2, 3 months like look like when you started it up?
Yeah. Well, the first month, you feel a little bit like a fish out of water because, starting a business is not easy. And there's no, I mean, I think there are books on this, but I don't think that there's any manual that says this is what you're going to do. This is how it's going to happen. And I think every business and every person is very different. And so, in all honesty, a lot of it is flying by the seat of your pants. I think, I had a list of things that I wanted to do and I know that I needed to accomplish in order for this business to be up and running successfully. And you just have to take it a day at a time. You slowly check one thing off your list. And when you do, like, that's the most gratifying feeling ever. Like, yes, I got this workers' comp insurance. Like, yes, I got my payroll set up. Yes, I got business cards done. Yes, the website's up. There are all these things. And I think within a matter of 2 months, I had hired my first employee. I had my website launched, and I had, I think, 10 clients.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was, you have to really, really hone in and focus and know that there isn't an exact plan to take. If you have one setback today, guess what? You may have, 2 steps forward tomorrow. And it's a little bit like that. It's a bit of an ebb and flow, and not everything happens how you think it's supposed to happen, but that's okay.
And then for you, like when you first started up, did you like save up for it before like kicking it off, or it's like, okay, this is what I have, let me make this work?
Well, I think I mentioned that I was in escrow. So, I had a, secure job with a big company, and I had opened escrow, and then, ultimately left that company. And yeah, I had no idea where my first dollar was going to come from. But I think people get a little caught up in fear with money. And I think if you have that mentality, if you have that fear mentality around it, then that's what you're kind of putting out there. And I never put that out there. I just was determined and focused, and I knew that the clients were going to come and the money was going to come, and I was going to figure out how to close escrow on my home and figure out how to furnish my home and how to make my home, my next step. So, again,
Mm.
it's mindset. And you hear a lot of people talk about money mindset, and I get it. Money makes, we need money. But I think if you have a healthy relationship with it, and, maybe you say, okay, I'm starting this business, but I can go, I'm going to go bartend 2 nights a week, and you know that you're putting away, $1,000 a week. Great. Whatever works for you, figure it out.
It's like believing in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in your abilities. I mean, that the number, like, you can't start a business if you don't fully believe in yourself. I mean, you
Hmm.
really can't. And I think, like, and that's 360. That's not only in your abilities, but it's in your business sense and your confidence and your, in your capability of getting clients and making money.
Yeah. Wow. And then let's just tell the listeners out there, like, so what is Cultivated Entertainment?
It's a full service talent company. We're not a talent agency, which I know sometimes people get that a little bit confused, but our clients are not talent. So we have no incentive to book or cast this talent or the other. Our clients are the brands, the production companies, the networks, and they hire us to be the sort of talent whisperers, for lack of a better word. And, they know they have every confidence in us that when they bring us onto a project, we're going to deliver whatever talent they're looking for. So, when you see late night shows and celebrity guests come out and sit on the couch to do interviews, we do that kind of work. When you see, a new game show and there's a host, we do that kind of work. I'll work with networks and brainstorm and help do the deals for the hosts. When you see contestants on shows, that are casted, we do that kind of work. When you see product launches or brand launches, we work with the brand to help align celebrity faces or expert faces or influencer faces with their brand, and events as well.
Mm.
If somebody's having a party or somebody's having a launch, like last summer, Kevin Hart launched a big digital network, and we did all the talent for the party. We sent out all the invitations and handled all the talent on site, and it was incredible. It was an amazing party. So yeah, we do a little bit of everything.
Very cool. And then, it's like you could have went, I'm assuming based on your background, in a lot of different directions, right? When it comes to this, what made you say like, okay, this is my niche in this industry? Like, how did you figure that out? Because I think sometimes people are talented in so many different areas, they like don't know where to focus.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things about what I do is that it maximizes a lot of the talents that I have. So I get to be extremely creative, number one, and I'm a really creative person. So, I get to brainstorm with the clients and, come up with ideas and things to do with people and really dig in and be creative. On the other side, I love negotiating and I'm really, really good at it. And I learned that early on when I worked at the agencies. And again, not even just negotiating, my own deals with my clients, but a lot of times the things that I'm dealing with are hardball negotiations, to get a celebrity to do X, Y, or Z. And so I'm really good at that. And last, but probably the most important, is that I love people. And, I've talked about this quite a bit, but I think that my communication skills and sympathy and compassion for others is ultimately what really drives me. And so this job and this company, all day, every day, we're on the phone, in person, on set with all different kinds of people from all walks of life. And it lights me up. So I think, I was able to create something. I'm carving my own lane here. This type of business, as I'm creating it, doesn't exist. And so that excites me. And I think, with other entrepreneurs, you have to think about that. Sure, if you're good at this, what are you going to offer? What's special to you that you can offer that's different from the other person that's already doing that? And I really honed in on that. And I think that not only helps with your success, but it helps with people want to work with you too, because it differentiates you from everybody else out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like in your industry, you're getting like very big name celebrities to try to work with you so you could, get them on various things. Whereas like, I know some of the listeners out there, they're just like, I just want to get Joe Schmo, to like listen and believe in me and know that my product or my company, like whatever my services are good. And so, I know it has to do a lot with confidence, but when you were like first starting out this brand new company, how are you able to like gain the trust of other people, celebrities to companies to everybody? Like, hey, I know I'm new, but trust me, I can do this for you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, it comes down to confidence, and I think that what I'm doing now is a compilation of all of my past experience, and so I do have the confidence. It's not something that that I'm faking. I really do believe in my ability, and I think again, kind of going back to before, I think if you're a business owner or a creative or a creator and you've got something that you really believe in, if you believe in it enough, other people will believe in it. But it starts with you.
Right. Because if you don't believe in yourself, everybody else is going to be like, not so sure about this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then question, like what year did you end up like launching your business?
Yeah, so my business was born last January, so January of 2017. So we're not even 2 years old yet, which is very exciting.
That is super exciting.
Yeah, and it's been like a really amazing ride. We've got almost 10 people now working at the company. We've got a New York division of the company that just started up last week, which is so exciting. And sky's the limit. I think we're international is the next plan. Definitely expanding our client base and working more with brands and more with events and more just sort of bigger overall deals with companies that didn't even know they needed our service.
Wow. And it's interesting just talking to a few entrepreneurs even in the area. I think another question like people have is how do you know when to grow? So, within a year and a half, like how did you know from going that it was right? Like, okay, I'm like two people now, but now I need to hire another and another. And, I think people are just like, ugh, I'm not sure. They don't want to let go of control. They're scared to deal with that aspect of managing other people. Yeah, how did you work through all that?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm still working through it. I don't think there's ever a bell that goes off that says ding ding ding. Now it's time to hire another person. I think
Right.
what it comes down to is as time goes on, you realize, okay. I mean, for me, I'm like, I don't necessarily need to be doing this part of the job anymore. Who's somebody that could come in and really take part of this. Take this off my plate and rock it and turn that into, their career. And so, I think for me, I mean, the first person that I hired was an assistant, and I didn't even really realize that I needed one. And it's funny, I was we were laughing about it this weekend, but I was on my way to meet her for her interview, and I ran out of gas. I was so busy that I didn't have time to fill up my car with gas.
Mm,
And in that moment, it was just, that was a bit of a realization, because it's not about filling up my tank with gas, but it's about the fact that, like, I didn't even have time, I didn't have 5 minutes to drive down to the gas station, to fill up my car. So,
mhm.
I think, and also, once you bring one person on board and then two people on board, and, they share in your passion and they share in the creative process, and, you start building this team, and it's really rewarding. It's fun to have everybody a part of it, and you're all working for the same thing, and you're all working together. I mean, I don't say that these girls work for me. We they work with me. We all
Mhm.
work together, and I want them to be, as successful as they want. And I want them to be able to create sort of their own business, for lack of a better word, within my business. And they're incentivized to do so. So.
That's amazing. And did you decide to work virtually or do you have like a physical location?
Yeah, so the thing with our job is, we're on set a lot of days, or, I spend a lot of my time out at meetings or dinners or events. So probably 3 days a week, we all are together in the office and working together and brainstorming. And then, another, 2 to 3 days a week, depending on the week, we'll work from home, or, someone's on this location or at that location. So that's another thing that's a little bit unique about our business, which I think is kind of fun, is that every day is a new adventure. I hated being, chained to a desk from 9 to 5.
Mm.
It was just so unnecessary. And I think that, giving people the freedom to, have a bit more balance, in their life, then we all work that much harder, because entertainment especially is 24/7. I can get a call at midnight on Sunday that somebody's dropping out for something that we're doing on Monday. And then guess what? Like, I'm up all night Sunday night trying to figure it out. And that's a little bit how this business works. It's very much hurry up and urgent and now. And so because of that, it's like, we don't all need to be in an office, 8 hours a day. Like, we can come in a little bit later or leave a little bit earlier, or, like, I'm flexible, and I think that it works for us.
Mm, wow, that's amazing. And then, it's so cool too because you're already thinking like, okay, we even want to grow internationally. And so I think sometimes people struggle with that is like figuring out how to obtain that growth that they want. So for you, how are you like planning everything out? Like you're like, okay, we're going to go to New York next and then we're going to go internationally, but when you're like sitting at a desk like are you like putting ideas down in an Excel sheet? Are you coming up, or did you have like a business plan? Like, how do you kind of work through, like, okay, this is where I see my business going?
Well, I don't get too caught up on the exact timeline, or, all of the details that surround something. I think I set a goal, and then through my intuition, or whatever you want to call it, I make it happen. So, the New York thing, we've got some clients there. I don't want to say we've missed out on opportunities, but there's definitely been opportunities that have come my way. But because I didn't have a man on the ground, so to
Mm,
speak, they went elsewhere, which is fine. But now, having a team there, and somebody physically capable of attending meetings or shows or whatever it might be, is, it makes all the difference. And so we finally got to a place where, we have the clients and the capability to make that happen. On the international thing, like, I've done quite a bit of work with Australia. I love that country and have a lot of friends there. And there's been a lot of opportunities that have come up for us there. And so it's just a matter of what is the right opportunity that just sort of makes sense for me to pull the trigger. That's kind of what it is like, all right, I know this is something I want to do, and I know that opportunity's coming. And when it does, I'm like, ding, ding, ding. All right, here we go. Now we're going international.
Yeah. No, that's amazing because you seem like you're like the master networker. And so I know a lot of people listening, could like do better at that. So what do you find that works? Is it like going to specific events, handing out business cards, emailing, but how what have you done, do you think, to help like really grow your business and like grow your connections?
It's a personality thing, and it's all how you approach a situation. I
Mm.
think anybody that appears too hungry, because honestly, that happens to me. And when people appear too hungry, it's not that I'm not interested, but I look at it as like, okay, this isn't a mutual relationship. This is somebody who wants something from me. And I've never approached relationships that way. I approach relationships with, clients and friends and business associates as, it's an equal playing field, and, that I'm not out to get anything from them. And I'm actually curious and interested in creating amazing, authentic relationships. And whether you know it now or down the road, it's going to help you out.
And then it sounds like your schedule is crazy busy, but I noticed that you have a podcast too, Cultivated Conversations. So why did you decide to start that, and when do you find time?
Yeah. The timing is a little bit tricky. But well, I started it because, well, for two reasons. One, I'm just inspired by the incredible women that I have, in my friendships and relationships, both personal and business. And I think that every person has a unique and incredible story to tell. Whatever it is, whatever you've been through, it is unique to you. And so one of the things that we started, we really have been working on the social media, and Emily for my team is really, hounded in on it. And one of the ideas that we had was featuring, doing a Women Crush Wednesday on our Instagram, and, featuring a badass woman that we work with or that inspires us or that's a part of our circle, some way or somehow. And, we started featuring these women, and, just putting up a photo, and they would answer a short, like 3 or 4 questionnaire. And the feedback was amazing. People loved hearing these vulnerable, honest answers from these women that, appear to have it all or appear to be so successful, but to learn like they struggle with this or they've overcame that. And it was really incredible. And, on the opposite side of it, as I told you, like I've always been in the performing arts, and, I wanted to be, a news reporter. And so it's something that it kind of been like knock knock sort of tapping for a while, that I needed to do something like that. And so it was really just like the perfect storm of taking these, this Women Crush Wednesday and, my calling to do something. And the episodes are 20 to 40 minutes. And, much like with yours, it's just having real conversations about life and business and, struggles and triumphs. And it's so much fun, and I get to have
Yeah.
conversations with women that inspire me, and I walk away from every one of them, learning something. And that's just amazing. It's like, what more can you ask for, right?
Yeah. And then question two, does your business require you to like fly a lot?
I wouldn't say it requires me to fly a lot. I think I could fly and I could travel a lot more than I am currently, but we just have so much going on that, I'm not able to. It's very hard for me to be out of the office, and I've learned that because I love to travel. Personally, I think that travel is like it's the best thing that you can do for your soul. And I think if
Yeah.
we get stuck in one place for too long, we go a little bit crazy. And so, as we continue to grow, and as, my team, both, in LA and New York, continue to have deeper roots in all of our projects, and it's going to free me up to do a lot more traveling on the business side. And I look forward to that.
Yeah. No, very cool. Because yeah, I was just curious about that because I know some jobs require like constant travel, and then sometimes that could be just taxing too, right? Because you never feel like you see your house,
Oh,
but you don't even have to travel for that to happen because you could always be in the office too, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, and I I love travel, and I'm not married and I don't have kids, so it's kind of like, now is the time to get the travel out of my system, so to speak.
Yeah, and then as we wrap up here, I think like some of the listeners are kind of like at that point you were at about a year and a half ago where they have this idea and really it's just maybe the company they're with, they're like, okay, I've done all I can, or, for various reasons they know they need to leave, but they're just like, ugh, I'm not sure. Any advice for like how to just get started?
Well, my advice is number one, you've got this. Like, go for it. Why are you going to keep yourself in a job or a situation that isn't inspiring you and keeping you happy? Your
Mm,
happiness and your health and your life are more important than any job out there. So if there's something that's going to inspire you, as scary as it might be, take the leap. And you have to believe in yourself, number one. As I said earlier, it's like you are your own biggest fan. You are the source of your own confidence and your own success, and you just got to do it. Just take the leap. No more what ifs. Jump.
right. I know. It's like that scary stuff. I had a girlfriend earlier this year and she like took the leap too and I was like, "Wow." But I mean, she's doing great. She's doing a lot of travel. Her business is doing amazing. So, it does seem like it's like if you know you're ready, then it's like believe in yourself, go for it. And then if you know you got bills to pay, then you go off of that and you're like, okay, I know how much I need to make and I need to hustle until I get there, right?
Yeah, and you figure it out. If you have to take out a business loan, or if you've got somebody that you can partner up with, that, like, maybe they can help with cash flow, or like I said, if you know you need an extra $1,000 a week to get it done, then figure out, how can I make $1,000 a week that's not impending on me building this business. Maybe it's waiting tables, like whatever it might be, just do it, and it's only temporary.
Hmm.
You're not going to be doing it forever, and you're doing it for a reason. So it's like you will have a much better appreciation for whatever it is that you decide to do.
Right, right. But you just make it work. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And there's always, look, maybe you have to move. Maybe you got to move to a smaller place, or maybe you've got somebody that can, let you stay with them for a minute, or, you take a look at, what are you spending every month? What are those, maybe you're going out to a really nice dinner once a month, and you got to cut that out for 6 months. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm making all my meals for 6 months. Whatever
Hmm.
it is, and every job, every business is different. So if it's a matter of $20 or $2,000, you can figure it out.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes what people don't get is like it's sacrifice. Like sometimes you just have to make small sacrifices to get to your dream, be it it's like, okay, I can't eat out for a while, or maybe I even have to move back in with my parents for a second as I figure this out. But sometimes you just have to make those small sacrifices to just even like get started.
And I will tell you this, you do not stop making those sacrifices. When you
Yeah.
run a business and you own a business, that's what it's about. It's about making sacrifices, but you're doing it for your business, and for your employees, and for the future of whatever it is you're creating. And I say, don't stop making those sacrifices. The day you stop making those sacrifices is the day that your business is going to fail. And if you
Mm.
truly believe in it enough, you're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's something that you're passionate about. Wow. Very cool. Well, cool. Just a couple of wrap up questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, how do you stay motivated?
Oh, girl. I mean, I, you know, I can say with confidence that every day I wake up and I'm excited, and I have this like really sick thing that the first thing I do is look at my emails, and it's not, people say, oh, you shouldn't have your cell phone by your bed, but I, I don't know. Every single day is different, and that's what keeps me motivated. I think also, building this team and having these really amazing women around me, working with me is really cool, and seeing them learn more and grow more and want to take more on, like, that's inspiring to me, because them taking more on means I can take more on, which means the sky's the
Hmm.
limit. And also, I think, just the response that I've gotten, I think there's enough rotten people in whatever industry that you're in. And, I've really been humbled, for lack of a better word, by the support and the response that I've gotten, from our work and this company. And it motivates me every single day to want to keep doing that and want to keep, making magic happen.
And then the other wrap up question is, what's just one thing that you can't live without?
Oh, it's one thing that I cannot live without. I would say music.
Oh.
I've got a record player. I have a subscription to every music service you could possibly imagine, um, even Tidal. Yeah, I think that there's nothing that centers me, that takes me back to a time or makes me excited about the future than music.
Very cool. And then please just tell the listeners all the places where they can find you, website, social, anything you want to share.
Yeah. So our website is www.cultivatedentertainment.com. And you can find us on Instagram at Cultivated Entertainment. And we have an email address. It's hello@cultivatedent.com. If you guys, want to reach out or you have questions, we try to get back to everybody as quickly as possible. Yeah, I think that's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. You're like a burst of motivation. Like, come on, people, just do it. Follow your dreams, believe in yourself, and get it done.
Listen, yeah, I enjoy being a burst of motivation. I will take that. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful to chat with you.
All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I really, really like what she said in the beginning when I asked her about health insurance, because I get this question a lot from people, and they're like, I would go full time, doing my own thing, but I just don't know about health insurance. So you guys may have noticed this season that I asked almost every person that has their own business about health insurance and how they've handled that. And everybody answers it just slightly different, right? But I love what she says here, which is, if you need to pay health insurance, then you need to build that into your salary, the salary that you need to make, right? The monthly take home, right? You need to figure out how much you need to make a month, a year, or whatever in order to maintain health insurance. And you need to build that into your prices, and you need to make that a part of your plan, just like you would your mortgage or rent or utilities or your car payment. You need to make sure that you are charging enough money in order to pay for your needs. And one of those needs happens to be health insurance. So I really loved her answer for that question. I loved our conversation about that fear mentality around money and how people need to push past it. And one quote that I'll end this episode with that I really liked is, she said, "You can't start a business if you don't believe in yourself." And that is 100% true. And I don't care if that is a side hustle, if that is a full time business. Heck, it could be with just starting a hobby. If you don't think you can do something, you're not going to do it. You have to believe in yourself. And even if you have a little bit of self doubt, you have to push through it and tell yourself over and over again, I can do it. I can do it. Let me just try. Let me figure out how to make it happen, but I can do it. And so I think that was such a powerful statement, and something that I want you guys to take with you as you finish up listening to this episode today. So, please let me know your thoughts. Hit me up on social media. You guys know I'm everywhere. Just look for Nishay Snow or Studio 78 Podcast, and I'll pop right up. All right. And remember to subscribe, rate, and share. 5-star rating on iTunes. Just take 2 seconds, please. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It means a lot. Comments mean a lot. All of that All of it helps so, so much. And thank you to everybody who has. And again, if you're listening to this, any veterans, I just want to say again, happy Veterans Day. And we do appreciate your service and everything that you do for this country. So thank you, and thank you. All right, guys, I will chat with you all next week. Take care.